One would have thought that Dr. Obafemi Hamzat is the best candidate in this forthcoming gubernatorial election based on Nigerian books. I mean, when you judge the scenario based on Nigeria view of looking at things, you would have thought that, oh, this is the best candidate in this coming election. But unfortunately, it looks as if this man has not learned anything over the years, despite his so-called political experience. This man has worked as a special advisor to the Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola, in 2015. And then he has served for 8 years as the Deputy Governor of Lagos State. But it is quite unfortunate that he is addressing such huge problem as housing this way. For me, I think this is a lazy way of addressing issue regarding housing or accommodation or rent in Lagos State. This is a lazy way of solving issue. How would you say that a young graduate or a young youth who earn 100,000 naira should stay with their parents because of the condition of, what they earn, and they should, that's not a good solution to problem, honestly. Let me take you back to history. Dr. Obafemi Hamzat's father was also a politician, an accomplished one. He was a former member of the Lagos State House of Assembly, and then eventually became the Commissioner for Transportation under the tenure of Alhaji Lateef Jakonde. That's from 1979 to 1983. And if we don't know anything about Jakonde, at least we know that he's one of the best, if not the best governor that has ever ruled in Lagos State. During Lateef Jakonde tenure, just 4 years, he built all the housing estates in Lagos State. All the housing estates you can think of in this present day was built by Lateef Jakonde. So, and this man's father worked for Lateef Jakonde. At least if you don't learn from anything, you should learn from history. Like I said, the way of approaching the issue of accommodation in Lagos State is not the way Dr. Hamzat should approach it. It's a lazy way of approaching problem. First of all, we need to talk about what is the cause of the high cost of accommodation in Lagos State. Yes, Lagos is congested and all that. Yes, it's in fact the smallest state in Nigeria based on land area. But there are some things that are not in place. For instance, the Lagos State tenancy law is not binding on every property owners in Lagos State. It only applies to the people in the mainland, excluding the capital, Ikeja, the capital city, Ikeja. So people on the island, Ikoyi, Aja, are not bound by the law in the Lagos State tenancy agreement. And that is the one problem that we need to address. Another problem is that the law does not specify or does not indicate how much you can increase your rent. The percentage you can add to your rent. The law, of course, agrees that landlords can increase their rent, but it does not tell us per percent. The percent, this is the minimum percent, this is the maximum percent. It was not stated. So a landlord can increase his house for up to 300%. And the law, because the law does not state anything about that, and those are the loopholes that the tenants and the landlord exploit in the law. So we need to first fix that before we can talk about some other problems. Mind you, all these that I've stated about the law is just a short and a midterm goal to solving the issue of housing in Lagos State. The major or the long-term goal to solving the crisis of accommodation in Lagos State is to build more housing estates. I don't like calling it low cost, but to build a standard and convenient housing estate that common masses, working class, average citizen can live and can afford. That is the way to go. Lateef Jakonde did it within the space of 4 years, and we know that that's built the foundation of Lagos. We know that. So this man should learn from his father's former boss, who is Lateef Jakonde, who is not dead now, and even his father is also late. But he should learn from history, because there's a saying that history is the light that illuminates the past, and the door that opens the key of the future. So there's a reason why we have history. You must learn from history. So this approach to solving the issue of accommodation in Lagos State is a lazy approach. You can't tell. Okay, what if those people that does not have parents and they are earning 100,000? Where do you expect them to live? Since you say that if you are earning 100,000, you should stay with our parents. Some of us that we do not have parents, where do we expect us to live? So that's also another. You can see that it's not really logical. Like, upon, when you give it a second thought, you say that yes, it applies to some people, but some people, they don't have parents. So where do you want them to live? And that's a way of a leader dodging his responsibility. That kind of a thing that was said by Dr. Hamzat should have been said by a motivational speaker. Because if it was said by that, then a government, or a government about to be, if there's something like that, I mean, it's about to be our governor, right? If he eventually wins at the poll, someone who is aspiring to be a governor shouldn't make that statement that on people earning 100,000 naira should stay with their parents. That's a lazy way of governing a state. Thank you. So I would like you to drop your comments and what you think about this under the comment section. Thank you.